second guest speaker is Dr. María Eugenia Lozano, who is a professor in the Department of Spanish and Latin American Cultures at Barnard College. Her research interests include second language acquisition, language maintenance among immigrants, and the use of Web 2.0 technologies for language teaching. Welcome, Dr. Lozano.
Thank you very much. Doctor to be, I'm defending my dissertation in 2 weeks, so hold the title. And thank you very much for having me here. This is going to be a presentation that is going to be a kind of a summary of a panel that some of my colleagues and I presented at the George University Roundtable Conference on Linguistics a few weeks ago. And we were presenting on a project that combined with Columbia University, the Spanish Department, and Barnard College, we have been developing creative ways of incorporating the culture, especially Latino culture, in our language classes. So I wanted to start with linguistic landscapes. What is it and how is it defined? And this definition of Laundry and Boorish, language of the public road signs, advertisement, billboards, street names, anything that you can see and read outside in the street is going to be called linguistic landscapes. What is it that we see when we walk out by a neighborhood, a specific neighborhood? Shohami, who was here a few weeks ago, she also studies this, and she was doing a study with Gorter as well in 2009. She says, it can be found anywhere, everywhere. It's closely related to people as they are the one whose hand designs display posters. So we're thinking about these linguistic landscapes as ever-changing. They are not static. They are moving. They are changing all the time. And they are different from one neighborhood to the other. So having that into your mind, we thought about and brought up also another way of interpreting this same information. We're thinking about language and culture as something that you negotiate, something that you compare, something that you reflect on, and something that you interact with. So we're looking at language learning in those different aspects, and we want to incorporate that in our language courses as well. Again, also there is the national standards for foreign language education. We're talking about the 5 C's, something that if you're an educator, you may know, you have heard of them. So this project that we created, I think it's more aligned with cultures, communities, and comparisons, although there's a lot of connections as well and communication also. But one of the things that I want to focus on is the first year project, and that's the project that I've been teaching and for the past year. And in this project, the main objectives are to create opportunities for students to experience the target language in use. We're thinking about, or we're looking at students who are first-year Spanish students. Most of them never took Spanish before. They are very brand new to the language. So we want them to be exposed to the language as much as possible outside of the classroom. We also want to take advantage of being in New York. So when we were presenting this conference at the GURT conference in Washington, D.C., some of the questions people ask, like, okay, so how can I do that if I teach Turkish in Idaho or something like that. So, okay, so there are some ways that you can incorporate that. I'm going to be talking about those as well. But I think for us, living in New York, taking advantage of the Latino community here is a must. Also, creating awareness of the presence of the Hispanic community around the city, and read text critically. We're going to be talking about that as well. You're mostly students here at Teachers College, Columbia University. When I ask my students, have you walked by the neighborhoods? Most of them will answer no. I just spent 4 years from 110 to 120 from Amsterdam to Broadway. and that's it. And I find that amazing. And so one of the projects also is to get the students get out of their comfort zone. Again, the project description for the first year Spanish, the students have to look at 10 advertisements. And I assigned this project very early in the semester, so they have time throughout the semester for look for 10 advertisements. They can be anywhere, from the subway, any street signs, restaurants, anything, whatever they see that is interesting to them. And they have to answer these questions. What is it about? Where was it found? What did it call your attention? And any other relevant information that they may have. So when they get to the classroom, they are going to be sharing into small groups their findings. They bring either their laptop, they share their information, their signs, their advertisement, and they come up with a way of summarizing these advertisements in a group of sentences. So collaboratively, the students engage in saying, okay, most of my advertisements are related to services, for example. And the other student will say, like, no, most of my advertisements are health related. So they talk about it, they discuss, and they come up with a final conclusion about their whole project. I'm going to give you some examples of different projects that the students have created. And I will say a broader category will be advertisement or government signs. And this is something that the students they see everywhere. So there is a construction site, and there are some advertisement or some sort of information related to that. Some publicity regarding specials on phones, or talking about the ways you can come in or not access a different building. This example that I took, it was from 2 years ago, and they were talking about medical issues about the Hispanic community, and they were talking about Sandy. Sandy happened, like, when was it, 3 years ago? So there were still some people suffering from stress, from all the, I don't know, the things that happened, and they were still going through a tough time, so they wanted to help out people. Also, talking about asthma, and asthma, as you may know, it's one of the major health issues among children in New York City. So they were talking about this, and they brought this kind of signs to talk about, okay, what is it that is happening? What are the conditions that most people live in? What is causing all these illnesses? And there were some other sort of advertisement, and I will say announcements targeting Hispanic workers. And this is what one of the students had to say. Well, the sign says, like, a young person is needed to work. And it's only in Spanish, it didn't have a translation. And then the student wrote about this. She said, this advertisement is found on 107th Street and Broadway. The store is looking for a new employee. The advertisement is in Spanish. I think that is strange that it's not written in another language. Are they only looking for people who speak Spanish? And it was at a restaurant. And we talked about, okay, so what does it mean when they are posting an advertisement only in Spanish and looking for a person to work there? So it brought up a very interesting conversation about the assumptions of this sign, and what is the meaning or the conveyance that this sign has for Hispanic speakers and people who are looking for jobs in New York City. I will say there are some kinds of announcements that the students bring into the class that they see it as it's in Spanish. I won't bring it into the class, but at the same time they are not very sure of what it means. And then they brought up these two advertisements, and then it says ñoño por la abuela. Vamos los ñuñes, ñartes, miércoles. And then And they said, like, I looked up ñoño and I didn't find it on the dictionary. I don't know what it means. I think it's something about grandma, but I don't know what it is. So we talked about this, and ñoño is it's a Puerto Rican expression, meaning that you miss, you're missing your grandma, so you can visit her on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and this is a Delta Airlines advertisement. So we talked about it, we tried to unpack a little bit of the language that goes with the message, and then they learn a new expression. And also, there was another Bud Light advertisement that was very heavily on the subways. And this Bud Light says, tan buena como un sueñito debajo de una mata de mango. So, as good as a nap under a mango tree. And the students were like, I don't understand, I don't get the message, what does it mean? And we were talking about the idea of, like, okay, so if you haven't taken a nap under a mango tree, like, it's going to be very hard for you to understand. But the idea is that picture yourself on the countryside on a breezy day under a tree and relaxing. So that's the idea. Again, a little bit of the conclusions that we got from my students and the way we discussed about this project. I think the students, throughout the project, they were able to see Spanish when they hadn't seen it before. And one of the students mentioned this: I walk by this newspaper stand every day, but I had never noticed it was carrying a newspaper in Spanish. So we see things, we pass by things, but until we're asked to notice something, we don't notice it. Students discuss in class the need for the presence of Spanish and other languages in the city. I decided to take a picture of this ad. It was an MTA bus information because I think it is important to have this type of information available for everyone. So we talked about the different languages that are present in the city and how the MTA is very keen on providing services or information for everyone. Students were able to point out different cultural practices between them and the Hispanic community. And this is one of the most interesting things that brought up the discussion in the class. Based on the amount of money transfer offices in this community, I can say that there are a lot of people who send money back to their countries of origin. So we discussed their remittances and how are they important in some countries, and we talked about that as well. I just want to go very briefly about, this is the project that I just presented, was for the first year Spanish. Some of my colleagues had developed projects also for the second year Spanish, and then the second year Spanish is looking at the diaspora in New York City, and this is a very interesting map where you see like more of the communities, where are they located in related to the New York. And so some of the titles that the students have worked on are these ones: New Yorican Poets Cafe and Puerto Rican in Lower East Side Manhattan, rap and hip hop music for political and social activists in Cuba, and so forth, rock music in Colombia. So those are just examples of fine art projects that the students created based on the idea that they needed to go out, explore a neighborhood, and create a project, a fine art project based on that. And I will say for the third year Spanish, they has been also creating some work as well, where they have not only, it's not a project, but it's a whole class that is looking at Hispanics in the United States, especially in New York. And this is a class that is taught by one of my colleagues, Afro-Caribbean and Afro-Latin American Sociocultural History of New York City. And they research New York City, they read about the history, they look at the music, the culture, the people, and then they created this type of fine art projects. Women and their role in the world of salsa music, coexistence of different ethnic groups in the same place, El Barrio, Santeria, and salsa music in El Barrio. And these topics came out from going through El Barrio, walking by the neighborhood, seeing all these different places there of, I forgot how to, what is the name for the place who sells, like the things for you to win the lottery or for good luck, or No, it's not a bodega. No. It's more like spiritual help, and they have saints. But the store. How do you call the store? A botanica. So there are. Thank you. There are so many botanicas on the neighborhood, on the barrio, that you go there, and then if you have a love problem, then they have the solution for you. They sell you a package where you bathe yourself in, and then you find good luck in love, or if you want to win the lottery or something like that. Anyway, so that's where the Santeria and Salsa music came from. And I will say that's it. I just wanted to give you an overview of the things that we have been doing in the Spanish department. I think we're kind of trying to use as much as we can from what we have to work on here in the city. And the students are the ones who create amazing things. Every year that we do these projects, the results are different because the advertisements are different, the conclusions are different, so the students are the ones in charge of bringing these projects to life. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Our third